Chapter 2, July 24th, 2018, Global Warming and Darwinism. Scientific fact must not be subjugated to politicized conjecture. The evidence of climate change is overwhelming and openly observable by any individual. It is an immutable fact, just as the warming of our planet is an obvious primary symptom. Do you accept gravity? Why? Because the scientists posited that a mathematical equation could quantify the universally experienced phenomena of what goes up must come down. What we put into the air and soil must go somewhere, and its diffusion through our environment must necessarily follow the same laws of science set out by our Creator. Our planet is an airtight garage, and we have left the Hummer running, windows and doors shut, while sitting absently in the passenger seat, swallowing as true the reassurances of the fossil fuel industries, while it desperately holds hostage both the steering wheel and escape hatch. We are a fishbowl of a planet and have sealed the lid in stifling plastic wrap. For a while we remain unaware and unaffected under the water, but eventually even goldfish need oxygen infused into their water routinely or they will suffocate. Why would you believe the people you yourself cannot deny have egregiously polluted your oceans and waterways? Your household water is unsafe for your children to drink, the purest life-giver on earth, permissibly laced with toxins until resulting in a poisonous combustible. These big businesses that you know have harmed you are the same as those who would have you believe that they, and therefore we, have no reason to change. They have chained our lives to oil barons and planet killers, suppressing technologies that are far superior in effect and outcome, that subverts burning the dead remains of our prehistoric predecessors. We revel in death, burnt up like smoke from a ritual fire lit to darken the skies and worship to a used-up golden calf, forced on all in obedience to the calf's own makers. There is no doubt our planet is dying, and it is because of our failure as stewards. So regardless of whether you choose to accept scientific fact, accept there is a better way than death-invoking exhaust pipes, and help us take every measure we have at our disposal to clean the planet immediately, with urgency, and with investment at the highest level of priority. If you wish to obstruct our dedication to self-preservation, however, then I invite you to stick your head in a gas oven, turn on the gas, increasing its flow slowly until reaching maximum capability while careful not to ignite the pilot light, and once comfortably situated, spend about half an hour or more in that repose while you reconsider your current position. Now, before we get worked up over the implications of this incredible suggestion, if not elegantly simple, consider those who are of the mind to actually undertake such an unusually specific meditative technique. After careful thought, I respectfully offer these probabilities to mull over. 1. Such a person must be so socially isolated they are entirely a priori oblivious to the colloquial subtext, and yet nevertheless must have learned from someone aware enough how to operate an oven requiring not just the electric slide, but a two-step dance in order to operate. Such demonstration, where there is gas and there is light, let there be fire. So we know fire is hot and higher can burn, so it is reasonable to presume don't play with pilot light unless you are at least somewhat a casual aficionado of ovens. 2. To march towards disaster, such a person must not have a single soul invested enough in them to educate them on the foreseeable perils or to intervene where that information somehow fails to stick. 3. Such action must be undertaken by a person who is not only able to track my words, but also has means to follow through on this ridiculously proposed experiment, who in spite or ignorance or both is compelled to vindicate the absurdly marketed alternative fact that fossil fuels are not a hazard. Thus, conclusion, giving 1 through 3, is it not a fitting demonstration of fatally dangerous ignorance when willfully indulged? As an admirer of his satirical works, I imagine Mark Twain would answer sensitive critics like this. Not only would such an attempt assist in disseminating pure scientific reality throughout the whole of communities where it happens to be lacking in at least one oven-owning household, it's the nature and cause of the deteriorating condition of the whole global habitat that all species must share, but as an added bonus, you would be hard-pressed to deny or convince me that such an act, in one breath, would also not prove the existence and validity of the natural evolution of species, but also the wisdom and indeed even the advisability of such an ingenious process of refinement. Darwin may have famously articulated the idea that only the fittest survive in his Origin of Species, but it is only through the trials and errors of the members of our species, superior to others only in our intellect and power of pattern recognition for danger, that we can see that, oh yes, perhaps there's merit in letting someone introduce a hard head to a gassy oven, if it means the next hard head gets some sense out of it, and better yet, if there's one less obnoxious windbag around dragging others around by their eyelids. Just open your eyes or turn on the oven. It truly is that simple. Self-preservation, however, and I invite you to stick your head in an oven, turn on the gas, careful not to ignite the pilot light, and once comfortable, spend about... After careful thought, I respectfully offered... After two, to march towards disaster, such a person must not have a single soul invested enough in them to educate them on the foreseeable perils of or to experiment, who in spite or in ignorance or both is compelled to vindicate absurdly marketed. Thus, conclusion is not a fitting demonstration of Thus, conclusion, is it not a fitting demonstration of fatally dangerous ignorance, willfully indulged? Thus, given 1 through 3, is it not As an admirer of his satirical works, I imagine Mark Twain would answer sensitive critics like this. Not only would an attempt... Darwin may have famously articulated the idea that only the fittest survive in his Origin of Species, but it is only through the trail...